Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm off screen. I'm over here now. Hi, my name's Dan Amrick.
Hi,
I'm the
you do.
community developer for Rocksmith. And if you're just joining us, this is the weekly live stream that we do. You don't have to, it's okay, Nick. You can stay right where you are. They're used to seeing half of me on the stream anyway. This is our weekly stream where we get some of the developers and some of the note trackers who help make or made or continue to make Rocksmith 2014 what it is. And we also give away some stuff. But mostly, it's about the music. And joining us today is the man you just saw in that video. Say hi to America and Lithuania and Uganda and everybody else that's watching worldwide. No pressure.
I need a list of the other countries that are going to be
Okay, I'm sorry.
before I can say hello to anyone.
Hey, this is Nicholas Bonardi, which some of you may recognize him not only from the credits of the game, but from the video that played just 30 seconds ago.
I don't wear glasses anymore. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that session mode is your fault?
Is my fault?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to interview you.
I'm gonna take these off because the echo drives me crazy.
I'm interviewing you the way the internet would.
Okay, that's good. It's my fault. Yeah. Did you do this to us?
Is
you the one?
Who's the one? Who do I blame for session mode?
So after the first Rocksmith came out. We were all done from crunching after. And where is the camera?
The camera's right in the middle. It's the blue one.
That one. Yeah. We were done from some insane crunching. We were really happy with the product that we made, and we were really happy with our first iteration of it. And we were all chilling out for a good week or so afterwards because we were crunching for a very long time. In that time, we started thinking about, all right, what are we going to do with the next Rocksmith? And one of the big things that we wanted to do with the first one we didn't get to was kind of approaching improvisation, teaching people how to improvise, giving places for people to improvise. We ended up not getting it in the first one for a variety of reasons, but with the second one we had more time to play with it, and I got to thinking, well, if you're gonna learn how to improvise, you need to have an environment that's going to improvise with you. If you're soloing on top of a song, you're just wailing on top of a song, and that's cool in and of itself, but improvisation is about listening to one another and about adapting and changing with what's going on around you. So I started to work on this prototype in Wise, the audio engine that we have. And at first, we just made a drummer. And all the drummer did was you start playing, it starts playing with you. You stop playing, it stops playing. And that was like, oh, wait a minute, this is my drummer. That's like kind of cool. Now I have a drummer that's actually going to listen to me and show up to the gig. So from there, I locked myself in the mix room closet for 2 weeks straight and made a five-piece band. Yeah, so there was a guitar, there was an organ, there was a percussion kit, a drum set, and a bass. And that was basically, it's like if you choose one setting on session mode now, that's what that was. But it was all using completely different tech, so that demo actually served us really well for a long time. It gave the basic idea of like, hey, this is what session mode is, this is why it's going to be cool, like let's actually make this thing. From there, that was completely hacked into the last Rocksmith. It would be hilarious if you guys saw it. It was in actually a pedal, so you drop the pedal on the pedal board, and
the pedal was session mode.
The pedal was it was one of the temporary pedals. It said like not final art asset coming soon. So it was like gray and had all this stuff all over it, and it was called jam pedal. And then you could control the individual volumes of the instruments. It was a mess. Basically, the way we eventually did it was completely...
It's proof of concept.
It's proof of concept stuff. So, you have to make something to show people like, hey, look, this isn't final art, but it's going to look something, it's going to feel like this. It's going to have an experience like this. Anyhow, from there, we started on completely redoing the tech because the tech that we used to build it was completely the opposite, and really focused on improvisation and what we wanted to teach people. One of the big things I wanted to get across is, damn, if you know the minor pentatonic shape, and you know that all around, or even if you know just one position of the minor pentatonic shape, you can move that around to the key of the song, and then you can solo over anything. Like almost anything is in pentatonic minor or pentatonic major. It's the most.
That a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's the most useful scale. It like unlocks you to so much stuff. And like normally in a guitar player's like career, like they discover this scale, then they just stop doing anything else, and just hours and hours and hours a day are spent to wailing over songs. So what we wanted to do with session mode is kind of put it all in one place and say like, hey, here are the scales, here's how they actually fit. If you get further into session mode and you start following the missions and stuff, it gets into missions of how the scales are actually connected together, how the harmony actually works against the band and stuff like that. But something that like just learning that scale and going wild over like an MP3 or something doesn't do for you is you don't actually get the kind of reactive experience that you would get if you were a couple guys in a room just hanging out playing, you know. So that's what we wanted to recreate with session mode. So like, yes, it's a place where you can have tools to kind of teach yourself to improvise and start developing your own voice, but really it's to have this collaborative music making experience that is not really easy to get, you know, after you're not in music school anymore. You don't have musicians everywhere.
It's hard to not only find people that you're compatible with musically, but it's also just hard to find people.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gear involved. There's a lot of like, hey, everybody come over to this rehearsal space, or maybe you have to pay for scheduling and lugging amps around. It's not easy.
It's a tremendous commitment.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't you show us some of what you can do in session mode? We have some questions from people, but I kind of want to give you a chance to show off a little bit.
Sure. So if you guys showed the video, covered the basics, right?
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you that like you start playing and the band plays with you and they grow with your intensity and adapt to you. I don't need to go over all that.
Right.
I had all that planned, so now it's kind of all
improvising.
That's okay.
Well, no, we'll improvise a little bit. We'll collect some more questions about session mode from the chat room, and then we can address those.
But something that I would like to do is get like a 2-player jam going with Shane and I. See what happens.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is a pretty awesome way to use session band. I remember when I first started learning guitar when I was 15, it was a similar situation where I had a bass player friend and we had a band, but we didn't have a drummer. Are you gonna? Yeah, there we go. We didn't have a drummer. I would have killed for something like this back then because then I would have had an actual drummer to play along with him with. So this is the session mode screen as is, for most of you know that, but I don't want to play with just a metronome. We actually,
I'm here too.
The metronome is cool and definitely play along with it. We mostly put it in as, no, we didn't put it in as a joke. You should play along with a metronome. That's good.
How many options do you have in this?
No, let's go to, can you grab can you just drag out? We're gonna customize this band here. Oops. Instead of the degraded drums. Yeah. Could you go and grab, go to drums? Yep, session drums. There they are. Instead of the dual fuzz, can you grab percussion kit?
It's just that easy.
Yeah, world percussion. World?
We love the world.
World percussion. And instead of blue cartridge, why don't you go down and grab one of the pads, synth pad, and put in what would Ryan want me to put in? Put in no. Why don't we put in progressive pad? Yeah, that's pretty.
All right. Progressive.
Can you put it in?
Want a 4?
Yeah, can you put it in E?
And you still have a 4th instrument that you could use if you wanted, right?
Aeolian is fine. Or put it in pentatonic minor because then it's I've been kicking it around. So and just put it in jam. So
you're in major. Right.
Yeah, instead of radio friendly, go to jam.
Complexity.
Oh, tempo slow. Yeah, we should have had this set up before.
No, it's all right. This shows people. I mean, like
Groove put it on pushed. So again, you guys can ask me questions about what all these things do afterwards. If you play the session mode missions, it'll actually take you through all of that and teach you what each one of them is.
You probably want to
so
hear yourself.
We have no harmonic instruments in here besides ourselves. Besides the pad. The pad's just going to keep like a nice tonic. Yeah. So you're in control of the tonic. Go wherever. Don't screw up. Everybody's watching.
Oh, man.
Yes, everybody is watching. By the way, after we mentioned the international aspect of it, we got shout-outs from Canada, Luxembourg, Ireland, England, somebody from San Francisco, and, of course, Toronto, yay.
Yeah, Toronto. So,
and a British guy in France. So I don't know how, I guess that counts as a halfer.
Play some music.
I can't hear anything from the.
The game is muted.
We're not hearing the game.
Is the game muted?
If the game,
Here
if
we
the
go.
There we go.
That's a big
Oh,
bass.
bass tone.
Oh boy.
Can you change the tone for the bass? Yeah. Here. Okay. Here's what you do. Save this custom band. Go out of here. Go to my band. Yeah. Go to save custom band. Name it whatever.
It's always important to.
Whatever is the name for it. Yeah. Then go to load preset, and just load a blues band. Electric blues. Go to electric blues, please. And then load back our other band. So there are preset tones that come with each band, so that you pretty much have the exact tone that you should be playing with that band. So before we were playing with it, anyhow. Now we're ready to play. Can you turn it up for me?
Oh, you have your own volume right here.
Ah.
I think you're too.
That escalated quickly. That white line at the top of the screen, that's the overall intensity of the jam that they're doing. So they sort of backed off a little bit and mellowed out. And they're pushing it up a little bit again. That was lovely. All right.
Mo band is that it does not stop. It just keeps going forever and ever and ever.
Until you
So
are tired.
there is a point where we have to stop.
Well, that's okay because
the feed ends at a certain point.
we have questions.
I have a question
Yeah.
that I think is interesting. That's not from the chat, but
Go.
actually people ask it. Is oh, hello. Wow, this is weird.
Oh, you're the microphone. That's weird.
When so you can play any of these notes in the scale and they'll sound good, and you
Yeah.
can land on the chord tones, and you have all these options. But in real time, how are you actually making the decisions about, I want to play this note, I want to play this note, I want to shift up here and play some high notes? Like, what's the the musical thinking underneath
Yeah, it is.
kinds of decisions more than just like, oh, I can just go up and down the scale.
It would be good to kind of connect what we just did with what you see on screen. So for those of you who only know a little bit about session mode here, that is the one position of the basic scale of E minor pentatonic, right? But you can actually zoom out and see more of the fretboard. It's arrows, just the arrows. Yeah. You can zoom out and see more of the fretboard because the scale actually traverses the entire neck. And when the key changes, the scale actually moves around, right? So the way that guitarists usually start learning scales is they focus in on one scale. Could you drive to focus in? They focus in on one scale, they learn that one, and then they go up and down from that scale and learn all the connecting pieces. And then eventually, you learn how it all connects together over the neck. So whether to slide up the neck and play something really high or go down low and play something more rhythmic and lower, these are all decisions that are just kind of built into style. And the session mode missions kind of push you to explore these different styles and start thinking about these things because improvisation is really the opposite of learn a song mode, right? Learn a song, notes are coming down the screen, you hit them right when they hit the neck, and you're learning the song that way. You're learning a pre-recorded thing. That's totally rad. Improvisation, we just made all that up on the fly. We're just creating that together. So there is no pre-recorded music. We are basically making it. So you really have to kind of think about what you want to be doing. And like some of the session mode missions say, hey, think about not being the lead player all the time. Like you might be playing with other people. Think about like being a supporting player. So you notice sometimes I backed off a little bit and let you solo a little bit more, let you have a little bit more of a spotlight, and then vice versa. You know, we trade off back and forth. When you're jamming with people, and like the goal that like I really want with session mode is that like people get really, really confident soloing, and then they can go out and play with other people and or bring other people to play session mode 2-player here, you know? The most important thing is just playing together and keeping time and not letting the thing fall apart. And that's really what the session mode instruments do for you. They just keep everything together.
It's cohesive.
Yeah.
I have a good beginner question from Slim25.
Sure.
He said, I don't quite understand why some notes in session mode, like we're seeing right now, why they're solid and some are transparent and why they change. And I think it's a good thing to bring up.
It's as if you perfectly asked that at the right time. Just about to get to there. Thank you. So the notes that you'll see, some of them are just boxes, right? And some of them are boxes that are a little bit filled in. So the ones that are filled in, all of them are called scale notes. The ones that are filled in are called chord tones, and the session mode missions take you through this too. The chord tones, so chords are made up from scales, right? And the chord tones are the notes that are in that chord currently. So they are going to be the most consonant sounding notes, which means if you land on those, it's going to sound the most...
Correct?
No, correct, good, bad. We don't use that terminology.
Consonant.
They're going to sound the most consonant. The reason we don't use that terminology is because it's all just different flavors, right?
Too much judgmental if you say good, bad?
Good.
Well,
It's not about too much judgmental. There's no judgment one way or another.
Right.
It is. Yeah. So the scale notes that are not filled in are just simply scale notes. So they're more of like the color, right? So the session mode mission that actually deals with that says, hey, if you're like making this like crazy solo, like think about using some of the scale notes. If you're gonna like end a solo and you want to end on the perfect note that's gonna be the most consonant thing, think about ending it on one of those notes. It's gonna sound really cohesive. It's gonna sound like the ending you want.